Good day, everyone. This is Ranger Kidwell Ross, editor at WorldSweeper, director of the World Sweeping Association. And today we have what I believe will be a very electric conversation coming up with us with Tim Letts, who's product manager for Elgin Sweeper. And I don't think any more introduction than that is needed, Tim. You just
Yeah, well, you
ConExpo.
teed it up. Yeah, you teed it up perfectly for me. So Elgin is here at ConExpo, and on display is our 100% all-electric Broom Bear, and we're really excited about the machine. We've been working on it for a while, but we're very happy and very proud to show it to the world. Up until now, it's been a very small select group that's seen it, but very proud. It's been well received from the few that have seen it, and even here at the show, it's been very well received. So very exciting times here at Elgin.
Oh, I bet. Being first to market, since you're the biggest manufacturer in the United States, I think it is something that's important. And you keep leading the way, as does Federal Signal. So it has to be real enjoyable. And I want to compliment everybody at Elgin because I have my ear to the ground in this industry, and I did not hear you coming out with this. So
Sure.
there too.
At Federal Signal and Elgin, we're committed to sustainability goals, and we care about the environment just like all of our competitors and the rest of the world. And I'll also give kudos to our customers because they have also been pushing Elgin to move quickly as the world changes quickly with it. It was just about a year ago, maybe a year and a half, when we kind of actually delivered some of our hybrid sweepers to the city of LA, and here we are a year and a half later with a full electric on display. So this one's quick. This went by fast. So
it is real
snuck
quick.
up on people.
Give us a rundown on a little features and benefits. And during this, at some point, I'll put up a photo of so they can see what these look like rather than doing a screen share now.
Sure.
Talk about this machine.
So as I mentioned, I mean, this is kind of our customers are help pushing this, and some of the more major, larger OEMs haven't come out with a fully electric chassis. So we were kind of scratching our heads with what to do, and we didn't want to go with an EV startup. They're great companies, but we're a little nervous. Elgin's been around for 100 years. And we want whoever we partner with to also have that same level of history, so that our customers can get the same service that they've come to expect from us. So we've partnered with Battle Motors on this first electric offering here. Battle Motors has been around for 75 years, but most people are also familiar with their old name of Crane Carrier Company. And Crane Carrier was purchased a few years ago by Battle Motors, and since then they've really amped up their EV offerings. So the truck we have on display at ConExpo, it utilizes the Battle Motors LNT chassis, which is a cab over chassis that's very familiar to those in that are in the garbage truck industry. But the benefit that we have is that the battery placement is perfect for a sweeper. Many other electric chassis have the batteries either mounted inside the frame rails or just on the outside of the frame rails, which obviously is right where our sweeping gear goes. So the battery placement for this is perfect. It's right behind the cab. One of the things that we wanted to address head on is range anxiety. Everyone talks about range anxiety with EVs, and to kind of get ahead of that, we went with the biggest battery that we could find, which was 396 kilowatt hours. So some of our competitors have come out with offerings of about half of that. And full disclosure, 396 might be a little overkill, but we really want to meet the expectations of a full shift. And if we need to scale back the battery, or if different batteries are available later, we can certainly address that when that time comes. But for now, 396 kilowatt hours, I've done some driving in the truck myself, and I think we'll certainly meet that 8 to 10 hour shift that people will come to expect.
That's terrific, because that is the biggest question, I think, and it hasn't been a question of if, it's been a question of when. So I know there are a lot of customers out there, really looking toward that. Let me ask about pricing, and I don't really want to know what the
Sure.
price of the vehicle is necessarily, but I want to know if there are incentives available in different states that you're aware of that can help offset the cost of an electric.
Yeah, absolutely. So electric vehicles are receiving a lot of government, federal, and even some state subsidies and incentives. Here at Elgin, my counterpart Daryl Beard has done a lot of homework and research. So we're confident that if a customer is interested, but they're kind of getting some sticker shock, we'll be able to help them with the necessary incentives to kind of put that more in parallel to what they've come to expect for the cost of a sweeper. Can't guarantee it, but we know that there are some incentives, especially in some of the states that are a little bit more progressive in pushing the EV transition, California, for example, or up the West Coast, as well as New Jersey. So there are some, and Elgin is working with our dealer network to make sure that everyone is well versed on those, so that if that's a question that needs to be addressed, we're ready for it already.
One of the things that I've seen in my reading, when I notice the kind of media that different cities put out, and states for that matter, they're really proud of their electric vehicles. Yours is the first chassis mounted. Global is known for its
Sure.
purpose-built machines, and there are some others out there that are smaller that are purpose-built machines. So you've got the first chassis mount, but I've seen a lot of I guess promotional use by cities, really happy and telling they want everybody to know about the fact that they bought an electric sweeper and what that means for the environment, and et cetera.
Sure.
Are you seeing that as well?
Yeah, and that is certainly a big thing, and a lot of politicians love to show that they're pushing the envelope and getting their city more green, and that's great, and we're happy to participate in that because we have that offering. But also, like I said, it was important to eliminate that range, so it's not just a show pony, if you will. I mean, you can use the electric Broom Bear and actually sweep and not be worried about finishing your route, as well as getting back to the depot.
And to be clear, the Broom Bear is also diesel. The usage
So
of the
the
sweeper itself
Yep.
is diesel.
So we've kind of been talking about the Broom Bear family, if you will, because the Elgin Broom Bear you can get it in a diesel version, you can get it in a CNG version, which is very common again in California and other West Coast states. You can also get it in a hybrid offering. The hybrid, we've sold units in the CNG configuration, and actually we have a couple orders for our hybrid Broom Bear that are going way west out to Hawaii. So the Broom Bear is available in many configurations, electric being the newest and now kind of the most popular at the moment.
Is there anything that any questions that you've heard at ConExpo or elsewhere about these, other than range anxiety?
Sure.
That
Couple other things that people are always interested to hear about is charge time. The electric Broom Bear can accept a level 2 or a level 3 charger, depending on the charger that you're utilizing, as well as the temperature. That's one thing Elgin found out very quickly, is temperature affects the charge rate pretty dramatically. With a level 2 charger, it will take a little while to charge the full battery, but also being honest, it's a huge battery. 396 kilowatts is huge, so it could take a little while. The fastest charger that the electric Broom Bear can take is a 125 kilowatt level 3 charger. And in that instance, you can get a full charge 0 to 100 in about 3 hours. So people always love to hear that. And you know, I think more realistically, people are going to be kind of what you expect, where they're going to drive it back to the depot, plug it in overnight, and then resume shift, you know, in the morning. Um, Couple other things that are actually a little bit different about the electric compared to the diesel or CNG is that with this machine, we're actually PM10 compliant standard. So in the past, that's been a feature that people have had to choose as an option. With the electric Broom Bear, that's a standard water configuration, so you don't have to worry about that. For us, it kind of makes sense. If you're looking to be green with your sustainability goals of electric vehicles, you're going to be looking for other ways to help the environment. Another pretty proud thing that we here at Elgin talk about is the new hydraulic system. When we introduced the hybrids, we did a lot of data collection and analysis, and rode along a lot with the users of the hybrid. And we redesigned our hydraulic system so that it's 50% more efficient. So that's great for the truck, and that's also really helps prolong that battery life, which again, taking into account everyone's afraid of range anxiety. So big battery, more efficient systems. We're confident with the machine that we're showing off today.
When somebody's out there with the machine and you say 8 to 10 hours of operation, and now we're at 8.5, let's say, how do we know how far we can go to get back to base and so forth?
Yeah, so there's a few different things that we've actually done. Well, we and our partner on this machine, but we've kind of built in some safeguards. So, you know, as it is right now, once you get to 25% battery remaining, the screen will flash at you and will tell you, hey, you only have 25% of your battery left, and it shows a calculated range to that you have left. And you actually have to acknowledge and then re-engage sweep mode when that warning goes off. So we're trying to show people, hey, be aware, this is how much battery you have left. And then also, just like, you know, I think most EVs now, we do have the state of charge always on display, as well as it calculates the amount of drive time, and that's just on the display like it is always, just like on a Tesla or any other EV. One thing that also helps with the range and helps kind of show you that is the regenerative braking. Again, a very common feature on EVs, and the electric Broom Bear has 2 levels of regenerative braking. So just like in other EVs, that regenerative braking gets you to a stop and helps kind of build up that battery back. So a couple different things that have been taken into account to hopefully to keep this fully functional for everyone.
As a thumbnail view, what does how much does regenerative braking add back in? A friend of mine and I, he's looking at converting his 1966, I think, pickup, Ford pickup, to an all electric. And we were talking about the regenerative braking, and I don't know how much what is added there.
Yeah, and I'll admit, I don't have a hard fast number for you. I think it's unfortunately a lot of it is driver dependent and route dependent. I mean, you know, some people that they'll get really used to to driving an electric vehicle where they just always have their foot on the, I guess, gas, the accelerator, and they don't really utilize the regenerative braking just because they're really good at feathering the accelerator. Myself, I'm not that good. I was coasting up to stop signs, and I would suddenly stop, and I'd have to realize, oh yeah, I don't coast anymore.
Right.
So
no coasting.
It's an exciting project your friend has, by the way. That's really I've heard a lot about those. That sounds really cool.
Yeah, he's quite the innovator. He's a fabricator, and you know, no challenge too large for him. He's all
loves the challenge, right?
And you know, when I don't know if anymore, but you know, when I was growing up, I know a refrigerator was called a Frigidaire. You know, did you get a Frigidaire? You know.
Yeah.
And you just brought that into the current lexicon with foot on the gas.
Sure.
That one's gonna go.
It's hard. I was on it was on the tip of my tongue, and I'm like, I can't say that. That's not
Yeah,
correct.
yeah.
But it
You
slipped
might say
out.
foot on the CNG or the foot on.
Right.
Well, it's
Exactly.
exciting that we're talking about foot on the battery or the electric or
Yeah.
that's going to turn out.
Absolutely.
Have you heard any? And another side thing that I've heard about EVs is sound. Um, is there a movement toward making a sound so you can hear it now? With the sweeper, that's not such a big deal. I mean, we can hear the sweeper go by, but
Sure.
when not,
So it is an interesting comment. That's one thing that we at Elgin are still getting used to, is just how silent it is. And when it is in sweep mode, when you do have the brushes on the ground and everything's moving, you certainly hear the truck, but it is still very quiet. So I have heard, and I need to investigate it, that there's state and federal regulations that EVs have to make a certain amount of noise up until I think 18 miles per hour is what I was told. So that's something we're working on internally as well as with our partner to make sure that we're as audible as we need to be.
sure. Yeah, they'll stay in compliant with that, battle. Will do.
Yeah,
I had an experience where I walk across my rural country road to get my mail, and
sure.
I grabbed my mail one day here about 6 or 8 months ago and started back across the road, almost walking out in front of a Prius because it
Oh,
had no noise whatsoever coming at me. I just
they're
stopped and saw a funny look on their face. I can tell you now. Uh,
yeah, they're quiet too. Absolutely. So
Yeah, that'll become a fixed issue as we go along. They'll decide on how that should be handled.
absolutely. Yeah,
What?
there's a lot of the EVs are in such the infancy. I mean, I know the Prius has been around for, I was shocked. I think it's been around for almost 20 years at this point, but EVs are really starting to gain a lot of traction. So it's going to be an exciting time as more things kind of come into fruition, like the sound that we were just talking about.
Well, sure, and one of the things that was brought up with this opening of, I think it's called Willow oil field in on the north
Mm,
slope of Alaska, and they're saying, well, we're going to still need oil and gas for another 10 years, surely. And that's such a short amount of time, if you think about it. How fast this movement toward EVs has gone, and that brings up another question that I have for you, which is anything else in the pipeline?
Well, this is a pretty big thing. It's consumed a lot of time and effort and engineering resources here at Elgin, and we're always kind of continuing to look towards the future and ways we can maybe electrify more things, and just continue towards that sustainable future. So we have more in the pipeline when it comes to electrification. I'll just say there's a bunch of projects in the works.
I have no doubt that there are. It was sort of a rhetorical question. This is the first
Sure.
time. I'm quite positive it won't be the last. And Elgin. One thing about Elgin bringing out an EV unit like this is that you do have that 100-year history of Elgin quality to backstop your move, and you know that if there are any kinds of glitches that come up, as well as having a partner with 75 years of experience, they'll get handled. And I think that's a confidence level that people can take away when they look at adding an EV Broom Bear to their fleet.
Absolutely, and you hit the nail on the head. That's really what we're trying to. Just because the propulsion technology has changed with this vehicle, we want to make sure that customers know they're still getting the Elgin they would have got 50 years ago or 100 years ago. You're still getting the same thing. It's just now it moves forward based on electricity instead of diesel.
And so that means horse-drawn Elgins are just completely a thing of the past.
Yeah. Well, for the time being.
Well, you have to sunset some of these things as you bring
Yeah.
new items. So, I'm a student of history, and when it comes to sweeping, and have many
Sure.
old photos online and available that we've seen of sweeping technology, and it goes back a long ways with horses, and then with fledglings, steam powered, and so forth.
Yeah,
So this is just the next level up, and Elgin
absolutely.
away.
Yeah, we're excited, and you know, this is the first. We talk about an EV journey, or electrification journey here at Elgin, and I don't think our journey hasn't ended just because we launched the electric Broom Bear. You know, the technology is always evolving and changing, and this is one of our many trucks that we have an offering. So our journey on the electrification timeline continues.
Yeah, and so it goes. Are there any
Yeah,
questions I should
so
have asked that you wish I'd have asked you and you could have answered?
uh, I think we hit the nail on the head. I mean, I think the most common thing that people were asking is, well, what's different compared to a standard, and talk about range and talk about battery and stuff like that. So I tried to come a little prepared with the common questions that we've been experiencing.
And the cab, interior cab, that is really a cab is a cab. It's comfortable.
It's comfortable, available left hand, right hand, or dual steer from the factory. You know, it'll be interesting to see how the take rate is on dual steer. Some people in the building think dual steer might go away. I'm not one of them, but we'll see where that technology goes too.
Yeah, cameras are getting pervasive, and
Cameras are
that's
yeah, they're getting very good.
well. All right,
So
then we'll wrap this up, and I'll just
perfect.
remind everybody that Tim Letts is the product manager for Elgin, and he's a capable gentleman. I can so.
Thank you for your time, Ranger. It's always a pleasure.
All right, thank you, Tim.
Thanks.